Well, welcome, welcome, Drew.
Thank you.
We know each other a bit. We've had a couple conversations, of course. I'll give everybody that's listening a quick introduction towards myself. Today it's the Friday, the 28th of January. It's 3:30 UTC, PM UTC. I'm not a native English speaker, so any English mistakes I make, please forgive me. My name is Vincent and I work for T-Starter. And this is the first time we're doing an interview like this because we felt like in the past, this is something that the community wants to know, wants to hear. They want to see who's behind the camera. They want to see answers on difficult questions. They just want to get to know the CEO or the people behind a specific project better. And I think there's no better way to do it than an interview which is not prepared. So all the questions I'm gonna ask you, Drew, they are not prepared. They're just out of the blue. It should be a natural conversation between you and me because that's how we get the most natural and real responses, instead of a prepared conversations where both parties give the perfect answer and the perfect question. So this is going to be a freestyle interview rather than a prepared one. Cool. So let's start with yourself. Who are you? Where you're from? Where do you live? How old are you? Tell me all about it.
Sure. My name is Drew Abraham. I'm the founder of the BikeChainApp. We are the world's first 100% self-governing ride-sharing mobile DApp. We are built on Telos. Again, my name is Drew. I'm from sunny South Florida here in Miami. I'm 27 years old. I am, again, the founder of this amazing project. And thank you so much for having me here, Vincent. Thank you so much, T-Starter, for allowing all of this to be possible. Thank you so much, the whole Telos community. Again, it's a pleasure to be able to show face and go into more detail about the BikeChainApp. Yeah.
Let's start with school. What have you done in the past? What did you go to high school? Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to school. Thankfully, that way I can do all these kinds of things that I'm doing. I went to school here in South Florida. Again, born and raised. I did go to university. I went to Florida International University down in Miami here. Studied business administration, marketing, consumer behavior, and dabbled into some other different, topics of studies. But always been very entrepreneurial in spirit. Always had a slight knack for technology, and I always believe in being happy, healthy, and creative towards everything, I apply myself to. So I'm very thankful for my education and all the people I've met throughout my studies. I remember one of my favorite classes in university was micro and macroeconomics. That was taught by a very great professor of mine, and I guess that's really what kind of pulled me into things concerning fiscal policy and how the economy works. At least here in America, we also studied more, other different types of economics. Is it Keynesian economics or laissez-faire economics? All different types of concepts that kind of brought me closer to asking certain questions like, is there a way that, we can have a monetary system that isn't run by the Fed and stuff of that nature? And then in college, I met some really cool people that put me onto Bitcoin and crypto. And
yeah, I was just going to ask, how did you roll into the cryptocurrency space?
Right. I met some really cool, interesting people back in like 2015, 2016. I was a lot younger. I was like 20, 21 at the time. And, as a young 21-year-old, I was asking lots of questions like, how do I make all this money? Or, very, very generic 20-year-old, 21-year-old types of questions. And so a very enlightened individual looked at me and told me, "Oh, that's simple. Just get into Bitcoin, get into crypto." And I had no idea what he was talking about. I couldn't really wrap my head around a universal monetary token. I thought there were way too many powers above that just would never let something like this happen. But he said, "No, I really think you should dive a little deeper into this. You see, it can't be shut down, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin to ever exist." And that kind of struck a nerve. I said, "Wait, what? There's only 21 million, Bitcoin to ever exist," and the rest is history. I've been in it since around that time. I really got deep into it in around 2017 was when I started.
Yeah, were in 2017? Were you still going to school back then?
No, I was pretty much done with school by 2017. Starting, working with, working in all different types of industries, just trying to find my way through life. I've always
what is your work past been? What jobs have you had? What jobs do you still have a job? And if so, where or what? And how many hours a week? Or
Sure. Yeah, I've worked in a lot of different industries, and I'm very thankful for working in pretty much any industry you can think of. I've been in sales, in operations management, in accounting, in telemarketing, in marketing in general. Gosh, I've done a lot of things. But a lot of it revolves around sales or business management and marketing in particular. I've worked in a lot of different industries, whether it be the hospitality management industry and the travel tourism industry. Again, I've worked for multiple Fortune 500 companies, and I was definitely the leader in my subset of category in that industry. So very, very.
And now what are you working now?
Now it's full-time BikeChainApp. I actually left my past career to get into this. I realized that. What's that?
No, yeah.
I realized that in order to make something like this happen, I have to give this my 120, 125, 200% in it.
For sure, man. For sure.
There's just no way other than that to do it.
It's time consuming. It's time consuming.
100%, 100%. Crypto's 24/7. It never stops. I feel bad falling asleep sometimes, not answering certain Telegram messages, and it's like I want to be there all the time especially for the people that really believe in this project. It's a great concept.
So take me back to 2017. 2017, you were done with your job, or you're done with school. Sorry, you started working. Also, you got to know cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, and all the other aspects around it. And then how did you get to know Telos? Why are you? Tell me all about it.
Sure, yes. So yeah, in 2017, 2018, got deep into crypto, started day trading it, just learning more about how the blockchain works. And then fast forward, just me working in more industries, particularly, like I said, sales. And as around 2018, 2019, I got into the tourism industry, and I learned a lot about how people really love to travel and how that's a really amazing economy in and of itself. I did have to exit that, and I really loved that career because I was doing really, really well with it. I was making good money, and I was proud of myself for getting to the
getting
top,
higher up, getting promotions.
Getting promotions, getting recognition. I was the rookie of the year for 2019 in sales. I was the top consultant for what I was doing, and then the pandemic hit, and I went from having my best month ever in January of 2020 to having my worst month ever at that company. Worse than my first month working there when I didn't know what I was doing. And I knew it was about time to get, make a flip for it and really look into something that had always, been grabbing my attention, which was crypto. I have really great friends and family that are also into it, and we've always kind of stayed connected and bouncing back ideas of all sorts. So got really deep into crypto. Again, I re-entered the market, if you will, aggressively in like mid 2020, right around that dip. I bought the dip. Still hodling, still feeling really great. Don't care about what nature of the market we're in, because I'm still entirely bullish on everything that crypto has to offer in Web3. So yeah, I was working, and I basically went and left and started to do my own thing. I'm also proficient in website design. I'm like an okay web developer. I'll give myself that. And I started my own business when it came to developing websites. And I learned.
Okay, so you quitted the
travel
business.
Travel
you started your own. You started going back into the crypto, and at the same time having your own company, which was creating websites and stuff.
Correct. Yes, I was helping people. Websites
and then at one beautiful Monday morning, you stumbled upon the idea to create BikeChain, or how did that evolve? Are you driving? Are you bicycling every day? That you connecting the points? You're like
every day. I ride it every day. As long as the weather's good here in South Florida, I can ride it and get really creative. And I went to an expo in November of this year, and I did go with the business pitch in mind. I was working in another industry too. I was working in the medical marijuana industry here in Florida, which, by the way, in order to get involved with, you do have to pass an official FBI background check screening. So I'm valid, guys. And yeah, I basically was into that, really liked that industry as well. But there were so many points of centralized points of failure working for a centralized entity. And a lot of things really bothered me about that in the way that I didn't feel appreciated, didn't feel respected or valued. And I could be doing a lot more. And this was only a couple months ago that I said, well, how cool would it be if there were also some employees at that job that also were into crypto, and we would always bounce back ideas about how cool would it be if you could apply supply chain, blockchain technologies such as BikeChain to the inventory and stuff of that nature. And we'd always bounce back these cool ideas, and then one day I said, well, how cool, just another cool idea, right? Well, how cool would it be to have a decentralized Uber, or a decentralized Lime or Bird, where you can ride and share the scooters, however it's user run versus run by somebody at the very top in a suit that you'll never even know of. And at first, everyone, oh wow, that's an awesome idea. But then that next thought came creeping right in, where it's like, oh, but that will never work, because there's too many powers above that just would never let this happen. Too many people's livelihoods at risk, too many sales bonuses or things like that would pretty much get wiped out, and a lot of people had a lot to lose. Pretty much any innovative industry, will disrupt and threaten a lot of what the status quo is.
So when did you start BikeChain?
I started BikeChain in November of this year.
November last year, 2021.
No, this year.
What do you mean this year?
Oh yes, you're right. Correct. We are in 2022.
Yeah, time flies, man. Time flies.
It does fly. I mean, it still is only really technically like 2 months. So I guess yeah, when you said, oh, last year, I'm like, no, this hasn't even been, let's see,
And
November,
okay,
December.
but has the thoughts, and have you been brainstorming about bike chain before November 2022, or is November 2021 the moment you started brainstorming about it and immediately working, or
Yeah.
did you start brainstorming September 2021 and then decided
No,
to
that,
really
I
do
mean,
something with it?
in essence, I mean, it really took me 27 years to get to where I am now, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in when you really think about it, this concept and idea is only like 3 months in the making. This project, this
Okay,
is
so it's very young still.
yeah, very young, very new,
Okay, cool.
like I said, very. You got to you got to see into the future. A lot of people, it's hard for them to visualize and imagine a reality such as the one that I'm proposing. You know, a
Mm-hmm.
user run Lime or a user run Uber, if
Yeah.
you will. It's very hard for people to wrap their head around, especially when it comes to those like more difficult questions, like how are we going to do this? Like, how do we plan to tackle?
Let me start with the first question of that. What exactly, if you would have to explain BikeChain in a very easy way to somebody, what is BikeChain? What is the BikeChain app?
Sure. So it's basically an app on your phone. Let's say you're on vacation in Miami with your
Yeah.
girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys want to see a bit of Miami on some bicycles right by
Yeah.
Biscayne Boulevard. You guys want to see the water. You guys want to see all awesome architecture here. And you don't necessarily want to rent out one of those super bulky 300-pound city bikes that, again, are associated with a lot of points of failure. Let's say you just want to go for a bike ride. You'd be able to
Mm-hmm.
pull out your phone, say find a bike pretty much near me, or find 2 bikes near me, and that will basically be communicated to the network and find you someone who's willing to lend out their bike to you using the bike token that we have, and you'll be able to basically rent somebody's bike in wherever area you are, whether you're from that area or not. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to connect with someone who's willing to lend you their bike or their scooter,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys will be able to enjoy, you know, your views of the city, take the scenic route, if you will, and then obviously you would bring it back on time, and that's it. It's literally the same thing as Lime or Turo. However, the big difference is that it's decentralized. And what does that mean is, at the end of the day, these scooters are not owned by BikeChainApp or by Citibank or by, you know, like a centralized entity. This is a user-run protocol where the users are providing their bicycles and scooters and are able to earn passive income by
Mm-hmm.
removing also the middleman, and allowing for the users to negotiate on the fares of the bike. So there's no like artificial inflated cost fares. Again, we're putting the control back into the hands of the users, which is super important. You know, it does plan to be a self-governing mobile DApp, meaning at the end of the day, it will be the holders of the token and those that use the protocol properly
Mm-hmm.
will be rewarded, and they will ultimately have the final say in the future of, you know, the network, if you will.
Okay.
This
Before
is
we
a lot.
continue, before we continue up on that, because I have a couple of questions. Are you? I know that you're hiring. I know that you're hiring, but how many people strong is your team right now? Do you have any advisors? Are there people you're planning working on? Do you outsource things via websites or via people you know, or via or whatever? As you say, it's 3 months old. It's very young. I can imagine that you don't have a huge team yet. But how does that work? How many people are there? And all these other questions. I bet there are many people that would want to know more about that.
That's a great question. We are working with some really great third-party marketing teams that are actually closely associated with the Telos organization, the Telos network, the Telos Foundation, to be specific. On our end, we are hiring. We are looking for developers in particular. The marketing, that's kind of being outsourced, if you will. However, I'm very closely connected to the marketing, and I do make sure to look at it before it's being released and everything. I'm very hands-on as a founder. I'm all the way down to the level of the smart contract. I do have some basics in Solidity as well as JavaScript. So already looking into some really cool code to make this all happen. But like I said, we are looking to onboard an awesome team of devs, not just one or two extra devs, maybe like a couple more. That would definitely help make this all happen, because there are those kinds of questions like, how are we going to make it all happen, and how are we going to do it with the tech? How do we plan to bring blockchain technology into the real world, a real world use case like this? It's very exciting. However, there are a bunch of questions that are always asked, like, again.
So to sum it up, you're hiring multiple developers which will help you create all the codes and the apps or app and all other stuff. You're outsourcing a marketing team, but you're closely related to them. You work together with them as you feel responsible, and you're very hands-on.
I have a couple of advisors as well. I do have some trusted advisors that know crypto better than anyone I know. I thought I knew very well, but there's some real OGs, if you will.
You've made a website and the light paper and all these things.
I did that pretty much. I did that pretty much all myself. Like I said, I'm a developer, so it's pretty cool that at the end of the day, the founder himself was able to build the whole website that you guys can check out right now, BikeChain.app. That's all me that built it. Not the it is what it is, and obviously we do plan to rebrand and give the website a facelift as soon as possible. That's obviously what we do plan to do with a portion of the funds that we plan to raise on our token sale on February 11th. So what we plan to do is get to work and get to building as soon as possible. That's my biggest priority is creating a MVP, some sort of prototype as soon as possible that has basic functionality, and then everything else we can just build upon and expand around that. We have our BikeConomy, which features our bike radio, bike shop, bike live.
Let's get into that later. Sure. I first want to ask you some more questions. So the app, I download the app. Then what? I need to fill in my information. I need to buy bike tokens, I guess.
So also that's a great question. KYC. How do we plan to tackle that? We do have a couple of different ideas on how we plan to onboard the user once they download the app. However, like that's actually super doable when it comes to that. But yeah, we plan to from initial download, we would want to encourage you to get started as soon as possible in some sort of way to either earn the bike or spend it. So the first thing that we would hope that you could do would be NFTing a picture of or a video, a 360 panoramic view of your bicycle or scooter that you would plan to rent out, and then decided by the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization, the users will then be able to digitally verify that using NFT technology, and your bike will be uploaded onto the network. and other users will then be able to find it and rent it out, and then you can pretty quickly start earning bike token by
but
lending out.
me as a user, because let's say I don't have a bike, but I do go to Miami, and I want to try this app. I open the app, and I guess I have to buy the bike tokens then in order to rent a bicycle, right?
Right. Yeah, you would need the bike token to rent out the bike. I'm sure we can make it very, very like user friendly, where like the first 2 or 3 rides could be free or something of that nature. To again onboard as many people, and there could be ways where you can even get paid somehow to ride somebody else's bike. I mean, using again the smart contract capabilities, you could make it so that you're actually incentivized and rewarded to be an early ride or die. Someone that's an early adopter of the application will make it very easy for you to get onboarded and get started in either earning it or just getting free bike token from the jump.
Yeah, okay, but I wanna rent a bike. So I'm searching for the bike. I bought my bike tokens because I need these tokens in order to rent a bike. And I'm looking on the map, and I see that close to where I would want to bike around, there's a bike available.
Right.
So what happens next? I go there, or do I send a message to that person? Because you mentioned fluctual prices, right? And artificial intelligence within that. How does that work? Do I tell that person I would like to rent your bike a whole hour for $1 worth of bike tokens, if they're 10 cents, 10 bike tokens, and that person can then or deny it or approve it, or how does that work?
That's exactly right. You get it, and that's amazing. The fact that you get that, that's literally how it should work. That's, if you ask me, that's how business, that's what a free market looks like, right? Where you download the app, you click find a bike for me. I got my bike token. I'm ready to spend it, and I'm ready to ride my bike around town here in Miami. It would connect you with the closest bike that's, or it'll connect you with all the bikes in the area that you'd be able to rent out. And then, yes, it would, initialize a conversation and a negotiation with the owner of that bike. You guys would come to a fair agreement of, yes, based on time, I want to rent out your bike for an hour, and I'll pay you 10 bike token for the hour. And then again, using the escrow smart contract capabilities, both of you will be able to come to an agreement, almost like a car deposit. When you rent a car, there will be a deposit system where, a portion of your bike token is held until you bring it back in premium condition and totally fine condition. And then you would receive your bike token back. So let's say it would cost you, let's say you guys agree that on an hour of renting out that person's bike for, like we said, 10 bike token, right? There would be an escrow deposit smart contract capability where it would be a deposit of, let's say, 5 times the bike. So you would actually deposit 50 bike tokens in the escrow, and then only upon a successful transaction where both of you can confirm that yes, the transaction went fine and that there were no disputes, then you would then receive your 40 bike token back. So that's also an incentive to use the protocol correctly and not abuse it, not trying to steal anyone's bike. That's what proof of stake is all about. Proof of stake is a very cool consensus mechanism that's hyper efficient and a lot less costly as proof of work. We're coming up with really cool terms for it, like ride to earn or proof of ride. So, excuse me.
You're a busy man.
I'd like to think so.
I hope if it's an emergency, you need to take it, huh?
No, it's fine. No? It's actually my advisor. He was calling me probably to find out how the interview's going.
I do have a couple more questions, because you also mentioned passive income. So now I went from the user the bike, well, user, user from the person that wants to rent the bike to passive income, which is, I guess, the person that's renting out the bike.
Right.
How does that work? Can you download the app, you say I'm a bike owner, and then what you mentioned earlier, you NFT your bike, so you make a video of it, basically. Right. Could you explain more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You're literally speaking exactly what it is. That's exactly how it would go. You would, if you are in the seller's position or the lender's position, right? You would upload an NFT of the bike would be uploaded, and then based on certain smart contract parameters, as long as the bike looks like it's in good condition, as long as the chain works, as long it looks like a safe bike, right? And then it would be NFT'd up onto the platform, and users would be able to find it. Let's say here's a perfect example. Let's say you work, right? Let's say you work at a restaurant. And you bike there, you work a 12-hour shift at the restaurant. It's a long shift, but let's say you work a 12-hour shift. You could, while you're in the kitchen working, you can go ahead and allow users to find your bicycle on the network, and you guys can facilitate a trade-off, right? And then they'll come to, you guys make the switch off, they get to enjoy your bike while you're working at your day job. And you're also earning passive income while others are enjoying, your form of transportation to see the city that they've never seen. And that's crazy. Like, the fact that we're going to make this in a way where you don't really need to know much about blockchain technology at all. We want to make this super, super user-friendly on the front end, where people don't even understand. Well, you would want them to actually, we do plan to help educate and inform a lot of people about what all the potential use cases of blockchain, can, with this. But we want to make it so where it's just a mobile app that they're not even thinking twice about, other than the fact that they realize, hey, I can actually earn crypto. I can earn a cryptocurrency lending out my bike while I'm working in a restaurant earning fiat.
Okay. Being well, in Dutch we would say an advocate of the devil. So I do have to bring the bike back, if I understood correct, right? I get it. Or I go to the restaurant, to the guy that was working that you just explained.
Right.
We manage the fee, $5 worth of bike tokens for 1 hour, or for 2 hours. But does that mean that he needs to come out to give me the keys?
Yeah. So that would be the general idea for now. It would be a trade-off.
Just for me to understand, it is not like Lime where you scan a QR code, because that would mean that you need something built in all these bikes, but you don't do that because the bikes are not bike chains.
Right. That's the beauty of the NFT technology, where you don't even need to actually place a QR code sticker on the bike, which someone could probably easily peel off or something like that. Using that NFT technology, here's a awesome, really cool example that I love to bring up. Let's say that person, right, they steal your bike, right, or they try to steal your bike. The smart contract, right, would be based on time, right? That agreement was made that they would bring it back by this time, right? If they didn't, an alert would be sent out to the network of all the users using the protocol, and they would be alerted with a picture of that NFT, of that bike. Alert, stolen bicycle, last seen this area. And all the users, that's why we're calling it a self-governing ride-sharing app, all those users would basically be incentivized to find that stolen bike or missing bike, and they would be rewarded with either the deposit that was used, that you remember,
the person that got the bike, the person that got the keys and decided to steal it or decided not to bring it back, that person is being fined for I don't know, bike equivalent to the value of, or bike tokens equivalent to the value of that specific bike, right?
Right. Yeah, and that, you know, almost like settlements, right? Settlements that are again settled by the DAO versus lawyers and stuff of that nature, right? Making it a way where it's a self-regulating way, where also that user, right, he's going to be penalized. He may be kicked off the network. He may not be able to use the network anymore with that wallet address, or you know, there will, or again, he'll just be fine. The deposit will be taken. That's the whole concept of a deposit, right? Of things of that nature, right?
Okay, so but just for my view, there will always be a physical handoff from the keys from between user and, or lender and user, correct?
So I won't ever use the word always, because things always change. For now, that is what we plan to do.
Okay.
And then trade-off, which is totally doable.
Yeah. Okay, but what then? What if so we talked about stealing the bike, so and because you NFT your bike, everybody that's in that area gets that has that app gets a notification that you can get a reward also if you bring that bike back. The person that stole it gets punished for sure monetarily, and maybe also gets kicked off the system, if I understood well. But what if, I would like to spar with you about braking, but let's do that in a later stage. Now first, what if I, writing it down, what if I take that bicycle, I take the keys, we did that €5 fare for 2 hours, and I decide to drive my bike from Miami, Florida to Orlando. I'm a very fast biker. I can do that in 2 hours, believe it or not. And I'm in Orlando, and I'm like, I want to go to Disneyland. I don't want to bring the bike back. How are you planning, or how is the app planning on settling these things? Because I can imagine that there are gonna be some cases on which the tourist decides that he or she would like to stay somewhere rather than go back and bring the bike back. Which is with Lime, for example, very nice. Because you can just put the bike somewhere, or put the step somewhere, and you log out and you're gone.
Right. Yeah, that is something that we definitely would want to plan to do as well, where, you know, the user also, we do want to provide some flexibility to where, you know, if things do come up, right, we're always going to try and incentivize either that user or other users around them to have the bike brought back to where it needs to be using the bike token. It's a really great incentive. Cryptocurrency is a great incentive, especially when there's a limited supply, a hard cap supply of these tokens, and their value is constantly being recognized and is rising. So yeah, basically, let's say, well, first of all, it wouldn't be a good idea for them to do that, to bring it all the way to Orlando and not bring it back like they said they would on time or something of that nature. But let's say they do that, again, users in the area would be incentivized to somehow bring that bike all the way back to where it started.
Will they be because in essence it's the same as stealing the bike, in my opinion. Would they be penalized, or are you guys are you planning on penalizing these people the same way? I mean, you're probably not gonna have a lot of people, because I guess there's some social responsibility within that too. But I can imagine there are gonna be some people that are thinking like, I don't want to bring it back, man. I want to stay here. I'm drinking a couple beers here, and
yeah, then I'm sure we could set up a way where they literally, they could notify them, hey, I'm drunk at a bar right now. I can't even ride this bike. That would be actually not safe at all, probably. And then again, the network would be notified, and that's an opportunity for someone to go ahead and be like, no worries, I'll take that bike off your hand. And then guess what? Maybe, again, using that NFT technology, you could even create a royalty system where that person is going to go ahead and hand somebody else's bike to somebody else in the network, and they'll be able to earn more passive income off of that. Again, using like royalty percentages and stuff of that nature. But
going back to this bike, so what you are planning, also just for the viewers to understand, that when a bike gets stolen, the bike will get back either by incentivizing people that will bring it back, or just penalizing the specific person that does not bring it back till a certain point that he or she considers bringing it back.
Right, and if they want to that it was stolen too, you know, there are ways to make it so that this person can't claim that their bike has been stolen 3 times in the past week. You know, that will set off an alert or a trigger, you know, that will notify the system that this guy is farming the system, or he's trying to exploit it, or you know, some bug farming, trying to figure it out. And guess what? That's gonna be a thing. Like, I'm already very well aware of that. A lot of stuff does take a lot of testing and a lot of refining. However, the main core principle is already, as we speak, being conceptualized with code. I've already found lots of different ways to actually put this into the Solidity and run it through the EVM and then have it on the Telos blockchain. And
why did you decide to do this all on the Telos blockchain? I mean, I know, but I think it's a good question to ask.
Absolutely.
To ask for the rest of the community.
That's an awesome question. That's one of my favorites because it's so easy to answer. I went to the expo in November, pitching the idea of BikeChainApp to the world for the first time, and I didn't receive any pushback. Everyone really thought it was a great idea, and when I would conversate with them on who they thought I should launch it on, I'd always hear, oh, Binance Smart Chain or Matic. That's all I heard. Polygon or Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah.
Even heard some people, weirdos, say, oh, launch it on Ethereum. It's like, that would never work, right? Everyone knows that
expensive bike renting.
Man, the cost of the transaction would cost more than the fare, and no one wins there, right?
No.
So, you know, and we could have done it on BSC. However, that's just way too saturated, and in my opinion, things get old pretty quick. In crypto and in technology in general, right? It's advancing so fast. I needed something new. I needed something fast. I needed something dynamic. And the whole time, it was a 3-day expo, and on the 3rd day, I just luckily happened to have just introduced myself to Douglas Horn, and Douglas Horn was the first point of contact that I ever made with Telos, and he caught my attention when he mentioned that Telos was capable of 10,000 transactions per second tested out. And he also showed me the Decide Voter application on his phone there in the expo lobby, and it was very impressive. I was just hearing him talk and how cool and down to earth he was. We shared a couple of beers and had a couple laughs, and then, you know, I explained to him what BikeChainApp was, and it was like, that was it. It was, the rest is history. He said, that's an awesome idea. And we both realized that we needed to join forces. It was crazy. He was pretty much one of the last people I met at that expo. And I'm really glad that I was just myself enough to just approach.
Best for last.
Yeah, save the best for last. That's literally how it works. I really do believe in divine timing and how everything happens for a reason. And if I hadn't been there pitching BikeChainApp, and if I hadn't met Douglas Horn, had a couple beers with him, I would have never found out about Telos. I would have never found out about the tech. But most importantly, I would have never found out about the community. This community is unlike any other. I'm not just saying that. Like, I know everyone says that about their no, come on. This is like some real grassroots, organic. This is the way like blockchain is to be done. Every person I've had the opportunity to work with, including yourself, and everyone I can think of has just been like class, just amazing people in terms of their skills, their traits, and just outright their personalities. Everyone is very willing to help, very supportive, and super smart. Like you got to be able to see in the future. You got to be super smart or just super lucky early to know about Telos, to know about all its capabilities, to know about its future and all that is happening in 2022 for Telos. And the fact that they just released the Telos EVM only a couple months ago, that was also something he was showing me. And again, I'm more familiar with Solidity and JavaScript versus other coding languages like C++ and stuff of that nature. So that caught my eye. And then when I found out that this is literally the best EVM on the market, and how now we can do that cross-chain liquidity and stuff of that nature, this is definitely the move.
Hey, going back to BikeChain, because we have 10-15 more minutes max. What are your ultimate goals when it comes to BikeChain? How be realistic, but also be a bit just say what you think. What are your goals with BikeChain? Do you hope it to only be in Miami? Do you hope it to be only in the US? Do you hope it to be in North America or also in Europe, in every major city? How do you see BikeChain, or how would you love to see BikeChain grow in the upcoming 5 years?
Awesome question. So we're called the world's first self-governing ride-sharing mobile app for a reason. This is, yes, initially we do plan to beta test here in Miami, as Miami is the perfect place to do some great beta testing, being that it's super cryptocurrency friendly here and it's super metropolitan-esque. People are already very familiar with ride-sharing apps here. So to infiltrate this market first would be our first goal. But yeah, we do. It's going to be a downloadable app for the world, for the globe. The main vision is to help empower people, to help empower those all over the world that have lack of mobility that's accessible, whether it be subsidized or even free, or again in a way where they can actually get paid to use the subsidized transportation or something of that nature. So that's the main goal, is to empower people all over the world with first and most importantly their mobility, and then also teach them about the awesome capabilities of DeFi, and also teach them how to take control over their finances as well. So we're merging two industries, ride sharing and DeFi, and we're creating something called transportation-fi. That is a completely new sector, and where I plan to see exactly that reality that you were talking about, in hopefully much sooner than that too, and a lot sooner than in the next 5 years. I could see this happening a lot sooner than that. Is all I'll say. An amazing world where I could use my own application where I go to France. I've never been. Let's say, well, I have been, but let's say I've never been to Norway. I haven't. Or better, let's say I've never been to Amsterdam, Holland, where biking's huge, right? Cycling is huge over there. Never been there. Want to do some really great sightseeing of Holland and downtown Amsterdam and stuff of that nature, where I can go with nothing but my phone, right? Which has the BikeChain app, which has the bike wallet on it and stuff. And I'll be able to find a bike in the area with my girlfriend, where I can definitely see all the cool parts of town. And I already have the bike token to pay the person with. And on top of that, I'll be able to use, while I'm using the service, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, the protocol, I'll be able to enjoy a lot of BikeChain app's features, such as bike radio. So I'll be able to listen to our proposed decentralized radio platform, where the artist will also be able, so people will be able to submit their music on bike radio, and users will be able to listen to that awesome original music on their bike rides and donate in bike token to support that artist and to keep hearing good music while they ride their bikes. Or they could.
I just thought I had one more question. So you want to make it a sort of ecosystem, right? You don't only want to rent it out the bikes, and you also want to make it an ecosystem ish, is what I just understood.
Yep.
Economy. Okay, an economy.
It's called the BikeChainApp. So our BikeChainApp.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, at the very, very core, which needs to be handled at the, the first order of business is developing a core smart contract that can facilitate that trade. Okay. Yeah. But then everything else is just extra. Everything else is just gravy. It's all going to be great. We're going to have, like I said, Bike Live, which is going to be a really cool live streaming platform where the users will be able to stream themselves riding the bike that they're renting around town, and viewers who enjoy watching those cyclists do their thing will be able to donate, like I said, the bike token to incentivize more of that, of the use of that, where people will be able to earn passive income by streaming themselves on their daily bike ride, and people have really cool personalities that will be able to be expressed using that too.
Hey, breaking. I wrote breaking down during our conversation. What how if I rent a bike? So we talked about the handover of the keys. We talked about the NFTing of the bicycle. We talked about stealing. We talked about not bringing back the bicycle. But what about braking? I mean, a bicycle can break. You just said you want to bicycle around in Amsterdam. I live close to Amsterdam, and there are many people that can bike well, many people that cannot bike well. What if you ever drive against a pole, or you drive through glass? Because Amsterdam is not only with a lot of bikers, but also with a lot of drinkers and all other things. So what if you drive through a bottle and the tire of the bike
pops, for example?
How are you planning on solving that issue between the renter and the
user and the buyer, right? The buyer and the seller. So that is why we would have the deposit in escrow in case. So hopefully that deposit in escrow would be able to cover the cost. If anything, then we would also have our reserves wallet as well. But we would want to make this very seamless in a way where that a solution is possible. That's why we actually have our bike shop part of our BikeChainApp too, where a user, let's say they got a flat, the user could go ahead on the BikeChain app and find a locally verified or a bike shop verified location, which would be a brick and mortar location near that person where they can take the bike to be repaired, and that verified bike shop would actually be accepting bike token as a form of payment for their products or services. So it really is, and then again,
but what if companies don't want that? What if they want to be part of your thing and but they just want to get paid in fiat? I mean, I can imagine that if you have a bicycle store for 30 years inherited from your dad, and he inherited from his dad, you don't want to have anything to do with financial related stuff because of whatever reason, or cryptocurrency related stuff. So you just want to get paid in fiat. How does that work?
Well, Well, that's totally doable too. All you would need is a bike card, right? Like a bike debit card where they swipe the card and it automatically converts the bike token into USD.
But can't they, because I mean,
but we would do it, we would make it in a way where when it comes to onboarding, we would make it in, this is actually, I'm glad we're talking about this, because what you're talking about is exactly the biggest hurdle. It's not the smart contract technology that people are iffy if we can apply it to this or not. It's that part right there. It's that bike shop owner of 30 years that doesn't know anything about crypto, that actually is almost put off. Maybe he had a bad experience with crypto. That's actually going to be our biggest hurdle, is informing, educating, and adopting not only the bike shop owner, but the users, just everyone around. We need to really show them the way and show them all the upsides and benefits and features and advantages as to why they should accept bike token at their bike store. So there's going to be a lot of, that's going to be our biggest hurdle, is painting the picture. And also, I mean, it's a very, but it's also a very exponential in a form of growth that's exponential, because it's really easy to show somebody why it's a good idea to accept bike token when they actually see the proof for themselves, where they accept the bike token. Every once in a while, somebody comes into their store for a tire repair or a chain repair or something of that nature, and that person's constantly racking up more bike token from their bike shop, and they'll check it again in 6 months and they realize, whoa, this blew up. I made more money from those 5 bike repairs that I accepted in bike token than I've made all month in fiat. That's a very powerful way to convince people. That's how people get convinced into crypto all the time, is they hold on to Dogecoin or something like that for a month, and that's what pulls them in. I mean, it may not be what pulls them into Dogecoin in particular, but that's what pulls them into crypto and opens up their eyes. When people see the gains, that's when money talks and people listen.
Hey, last two questions. Quick answer. Answer. A 3-minute answer max.
Yeah, I do take that.
Okay, 2 things. What are you going to do first after the launch? I'm very curious about that. Or after the first funding round. And 2, you started with a lot of nay voters. You got like -9% or something, and now you're at +3. So that's good. But what would you say to the nay voters, or how would you like to spark a conversation with them as to why they voted nay and why you think they should vote yes? Why? Try to talk to these people.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the first question. The first plan of order when we raise funds from our first token sale round is immediately onboarding developers and immediately beginning conceptualization of the smart contract code and building. Basically, that's the first thing we plan to do, is onboard team members and then begin building as soon as possible. So a good portion of those funds will be going straight to paying devs, to paying our public relations managers, social media management, because as of right now, I'm doing this pretty much all on my own. And in order for this to really grow, it needs to scale. And the only way we can scale is if we have more people behind this idea that are qualified and are creative and are officially part of this team and are incentivized to grow this network. So that's the first plan that we plan to do, is really get to building. You can even see that in our bike track roadmap. It says Q1, as soon as we knock out the the token sale, we're doing DAO conceptualization, and then really just building, just getting right to the Solidity smart contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part is for all the initial naysayers and downvoters. I guess I just want to apologize because I guess I did not do a great job at explaining this. Back then, I wasn't doing a great job of really going into further detail on how this is all going to happen. In crypto, it's the opposite. Here in America, you're innocent until proven guilty, but in crypto, you're pretty much guilty until proven innocent. So it's totally understandable. There's so much crazy stuff happening in crypto that it almost feels like too good to be true when you come across an awesome project like this one that's a gem. This is the exact definition of a gem right here. So again, I apologize to the naysayers, but I'm also very grateful for them as well, because they only motivate me to do a better job in explaining this concept and explaining the future. And for the people that did vote yes and do see the future of BikeChain app and blockchain technology and the future of Telos and the future of a decentralized ride-sharing bikeonomy, thank you, and you actually owe it to yourselves to give yourselves a pat on the back. I'll applaud you guys right now, because you guys can legitimately see into the future. You guys don't have a problem with believing things first and then seeing them. A lot of people, it's the opposite. They got to see it to believe it, which makes sense. We're animals. We have eyes. We have ears. We have to feel things, right? But it's really the creative geniuses that can form things from thought into reality and change the world. Like you guys are that, you know?
Okay,
so
okay, stop it. 3 minutes are over. No, I'm making a joke. If people have any questions after seeing this interview, where should they go? Are they able to? I think Telegram is the best thing to go.
Yeah, for now, we are on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. We do have a YouTube channel. We probably will upload this to that as well. But again, that's why we got to scale, right? We got to get a bigger team so we can have people that manage all of these things. Yeah, please, I do encourage everyone that does have any more questions. If you want to help support this project, if you yourself are a developer that is experienced with Solidity, smart contract programming, front end, React, JavaScript, if you are somebody just that thinks that they have great ideas and want to contribute in any way, I'm super hands-on. I'm willing to answer these questions personally. You can find me in our Telegram chat. I'm always there to answer in the best way I can. And I just want to say thank you for everybody that's made it to this point watching. And I hope you guys are very excited for the future of BikeChain app, because I am.
Man. Cool, man. Cool. I think, yeah, I think it's good. I think this way we or you spark the conversation also, and you invite people to go to your Telegram and to ask the questions they're asking, because I also personally think that you've got a lot of nay voters in the beginning because people are skeptic and people want to know more, and that's why it's important that they ask more so they find out how and what. And if they're still if they still think it's an A, they still think it's an A. And some of them might change their vote from a nay to a yes, because that's what you can do. So I want to thank you for the conversation. This interview will be online shortly.
Awesome.
And for everybody that's been watching, I hope it was doable. This is the first one of many, I hope. So it was new for me to have never done anything like this, but it's been a good experience. So thank you, Drew, for being the kickoff player here.
Vincent, thank you. I wanted to say, for the first time doing this, you killed it as well. And I'm sure that there will be plenty more of these types of conversations in the future. I think we did a really good job at explaining to the best of our abilities in such a compact amount of time what BikeChain app is, and how we plan to really have an awesome, successful launch with T-Starter on February 11th. And for anybody that hasn't yet, please feel free to vote. Vote up, more preferably. and yeah, I thank you, man. I really appreciate all of this. You guys are amazing.
I'm sure you'll be all right. I think it's gonna be fine. Thank you. I'm gonna end this interview. And for everybody that wants to talk to Drew or wants to know more, you can either directly contact him via Telegram, or you can go to their group chat on Telegram, and I'll put all the socials in one of our latest posts in the announcements. So thanks, Drew.
Yeah,
have a good afternoon, and we'll talk soon.
Likewise, yes, we will speak soon. Again, big thanks, and I hope everyone has an awesome Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.